Welcome back to the Behind the Well show. I'm your host, Roger Abel, back with Elias Randall. Sorry for me being casual today, Eli, but the sickness is running through the Abel household as it is through, I think, all the communities and schools in Eastern Iowa right now.
It's already been through our house, so.
It has?
Whole town, the whole town of Mount Vernon was sick for a month, but now everyone's good, but all the Cedar Rapids kids are getting sick now.
Yeah, so ours has just been like bad headaches, and it kind of goes in waves. I came home the other day and I saw London, and she was just bright white. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then 2 hours later, totally fine. And 2 hours later, headache again. So,
yeah, you don't need to apologize to me for being casual.
Yeah, I'm casual today, bud. I saw 2 schools in the area shut down too for the next 2 days. Regina and Kyoto.
Why? I didn't hear about that.
Sickness.
There's so many kids that are sick. Yeah. They just close the school for
a
couple days.
I think it's teachers and educators and students. When Megan picked London up the other day, she was just a solid stream into the nurse's office.
Wow. Oh.
So
hopefully we get through it, warms up a little bit. Everyone will be healthy again.
I don't know exactly when the show's going to air, but man, there's been some wildness in financial markets, not really in the stock market, but in other sectors of the market.
Yeah, which sectors are you?
I mean, commodities, crypto. I mean, we watched commodities come down 30% overnight, basically, over the past weekend.
That's a lot.
And it's funny because I have clients and I own some commodities, and I had clients who fortunately sold some of it ahead of the drop.
It makes you feel smart when you do that.
Yeah, I think he felt smart for doing it.
Good.
That's like positive reinforcement. I didn't want to tell him it's complete luck, right? You got lucky to get out at the right time, but
it's not
luck,
it's skill.
Dude, everybody deserves a little luck occasionally, right?
It's better to be lucky than good.
There you go. I was reading a CNBC article recently, and this doesn't surprise me. I think this is actually going to become a bigger problem in society, but in 2025, data breaches hit an all-time high. And part of the reason this doesn't surprise me, as technology gets better, it's going to become easier for people to steal your identity. We're now in the age that I saw someone post this the other day on Facebook, and it was a video. And his comment was, we're now in the day and age that unless you see it with your own eyes, it's hard to believe if it's true or not.
I agree with that because 100%.
The AI videos have gotten so good. I mean, this one you could tell it was like it was an animal that had his head stuck in a barrel and it was moving around. It looked real. And then you realize there's no head in the barrel. Like just small things like that. It's not that good yet.
Yeah.
But if you weren't really paying attention, man, it'd be hard to recognize it. Do you remember last year? I don't know where it was. Was it where they gave Rory McIlroy a really hard time? What's the big golf tournament between the U.S. and overseas? What is the name of that? And the
Ryder Cup.
The Ryder Cup. They gave Rory McIlroy a super hard time. I don't remember.
Being a crybaby.
They were just, no, I don't think so. I think they were just riding him. And I saw a post-event interview with him. And it looked real. But the way he was talking was like, no way a real human actually talks this way. And sure enough, it was AI. But I had someone post it on Facebook. And the individual said, man, I can't believe Americans would act like this. And I just responded back. I'm like, you do know this is AI. And they said, yeah, but either way, like almost assuming or like insinuating that it was okay, even though it wasn't real. Like he admittedly posted something that was AI, but still backed it up like, hey, you know what? But it's okay because we were acting this way. I'm like, I don't engage in that stuff typically. But I'm like, this is totally fabricated.
It's a fake video.
But it looked really real. I mean,
I saw
Really
one
real.
of Warren Buffett that
I just saw this one too
I
the other
actually
day.
think I actually think it's of a real interview he's given before about when he bought Nebraska Furniture Mart. But I think it's an AI version of it because I was watching it and I was thinking, oh, okay, I'll listen to this again. I've seen it probably 100 times. And I kind of like the story. But then he was dropping F-bombs. And I was thinking, I don't think I've ever heard Warren Buffett drop an
No.
F-bomb. And he was on, it would have been like 60 Minutes or something. He's not going to swear on that. So,
No.
but it was the right story. But then I thought this probably fake because he's swearing in this interview, but it is kind of the right story. So it was like AI, it was real, but then they probably just said, hey, do this interview with Warren Buffett, but have him swear instead of. So yeah, it's getting tricky out there.
Well, I saw a video. It was either Charlie Munger or Warren Buffett talking about the benefits of buying a commodity that they would never buy. Can't say the commodity by name, but if you've listened to Warren Buffett for any amount of time, he doesn't own this commodity. But this was like a video created like endorsing that commodity. Unfortunately, a lot of people jumped on there like, dude, this isn't real. They would not buy this.
Well, you never know. It only takes a handful of people to believe it. Next thing you know, you got a scam going.
It's right here. I just Googled it. It said this Charlie Munger video is fake and it's fooling millions. That was posted 3 weeks ago. And it is. Like, it looked totally real. You just have to remember that everything you see in a video isn't necessarily true. And it's unfortunate we've gotten to this point in society where we just don't know what to believe. But what it does, it exacerbates these problems with data breaches because now somebody could call you, sound like somebody you know, could send you a video of somebody you know, and you don't really know if it's them or not. And it's leading to massive, massive data breach. Data breaches rose 5% last year. It's pretty wild. And if you've ever had your identity stolen, it's a real hard thing to get fixed.
Yeah, everyone has. This art is funny because we've been saying that on our radio. We've talked a lot about how, or you probably even this show, everyone's identity has already been stolen, and it says it right in this CNBC.
Yeah, it's out there. It's not if it's going to get stolen. It's when they're going to use it, how you're going to react to that problem.
Yeah,
and I it's hard. It's hard to. Yeah, it says right here, everyone's identity's already been stolen. Yeah, it has. And how do you protect it? There's some ways to protect it that I think are good things to monitor. But one thing is monitoring your credit report. Most credit card companies now, if you have a credit card, like if you have a Capital One card, they give you CreditWise. It's going to alert you if anybody pulls credit, like instantly. It's going to alert you if you have past due accounts. Like these are all red flags. If you didn't apply for a loan and someone pulls your credit, why?
Yeah. Why'd you do that?
You gotta know. If you don't use credit or you don't need it, you could freeze your credit. That's a way to deal with it, right? You don't have to have available credit. But I think the biggest way to fight this problem is updated passkeys. I think we did a podcast maybe a year ago about how long it takes to crack a password based upon how long it is. For some reason, I want to say your password should be like 16 digits or numbers in those combinations. And most people do passwords that are just easier to remember. But in today's world, it's almost a requirement to have a password manager. Like, I can't remember all this stuff. And Molly, she set us up with, a password manager that stores the passwords. I do a poor job of, actually managing my passwords. I try to remember them and then I forget them. Then I have to reset them.
That's what the password manager's for.
I know. I can't succumb to 2025 technology yet. Another way to really monitor and prevent some of this is have two-factor authentication. If you have to have two-factor, they have to get your password, but then they have to have your cell phone access too, which they could get. But if they don't have both, it makes it a lot more difficult to start stealing your identity.
Yeah, and the two factors always a pain and it's a drag, and every time, oh man, I have to do this again, but probably worth it. It's probably worth the 15 seconds of pain to get the code and type it in to be a little more safe with your technology. And almost everything we have is there's not much that we log into anymore that doesn't have two-factor authentication.
Everything with LPL is two-factor.
Yeah. Every single time now. Seems
Is your bank account two-factor?
It's a good question. I don't log into that very often. I'm sure it is.
Mine is. Mine's two-factor. Yeah, I think most financial institutions are probably two-factor at this point. Elias, a lot of people have created New Year's resolutions. And for some of those people, it is about retirement, envisioning what it looks like. How are they going to accomplish it? Because this might be their year. I have several clients this year who are retiring. And I think one of the most overlooked parts of retirement, it's the non-financial part. And it's, what are you going to do to matter in retirement? What are you going to do to make an impact? And I think it's somewhere that a lot of people really miss. They spend all this time making sure they financially can do it. But most people spend very little time on what they're going to do to feel like they matter, what they're going to do with their spare time, what they're going to do to make an impact. And if you don't have a plan, there's a pretty good chance retirement might not be what it's cracked up to be. And it doesn't have to be like this grandiose plan. I had a gal who retired. She's 72, just retired. Just met with her like 6 months ago. I go, what do you want to do? She goes, honestly, I've worked for 50 years. I want to wake up. I want to spend 3 hours drinking coffee on my porch. That's my ideal day. I go, perfect. You have a plan. Is it a great one? Maybe for her. Like some people don't want to, but we had the discussion like,
I could
okay,
probably do that.
That's a daily routine, but that's not going to fulfill your whole day. What are you going to do to have a purpose in life outside of drinking coffee?
Play golf and pickleball.
Okay. And you know what? You could do that year round now in the cold climates. If you have the right setup, you're going to need a simulator and you're going to need a dome.
That's why you got to play pickleball too. You got to golf and play pickleball.
So you can go inside the winter.
I got this figured out. Yeah.
Are you playing pickleball?
I do once or twice. Well, I just started playing a little bit.
Both my girls want to do pickleball.
I played with my kids recently. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah?
Yeah, they catch on pretty quick too.
Both my girls play tennis, so I'm sure they'd.
It's a little bit different swing. It's more like ping pong as far as like hitting the ball, where tennis is a real full swing at the ball. If you hit it like it's a tennis ball, it's going out of bounds.
Well, so the girls get lessons, and the place they get lessons said don't have them play pickleball right away because it is a different swing.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that because I don't play pickleball.
Yeah, so I think my kids will probably learn tennis eventually, but there's a pickleball court at the gym, so we just started playing it. But I don't have to worry about two different swings because they're only doing one thing.
Have you made him think about playing left-handed?
Nellie plays left-handed.
There you go. That's how you don't mess it up.
Why?
Well, two things are going to happen. Is she a lefty, like natural lefty?
Dude, she's kind of ambidextrous.
So you let her play tennis with her right hand. You let her do pickleball with her left. And then she's building coordination each of those arms. So our friend.
Here's what's crazy with her. Everything is. She swings left-handed, writes left-handed, eats left-handed, shoots right-handed, dribbles better right-handed. But I always just tell her, because when we started playing pickleball, she goes, well, Dad, which hand should I use? Which one's more comfortable? I think I like holding it in my left hand better. I'm like, okay, then use
that's
that
good.
one.
That's a huge advantage. Well, our friend who had some really talented kids who play basketball, he'd always tell me he'd make them eat all of their food with their left hand. Like they weren't allowed to do anything with their right hand. And that's how he developed the coordination in their left hand. So at dinner, you got to eat with your left hand. Got to dribble with your left hand. Because most people who play sports.
They do everything with
and he was grooming them
hand.
to be basketball players, right? So he knew we were going to need to develop this coordination on our left side of our body.
So yeah, I'm going to golf and play pickleball. And at the gym I go to, the pickleball, they start about 8 o'clock in the morning, and they always make a pot of coffee. They got it figured out.
My client could go there, drink coffee, play pickleball.
That's what I'm saying. Go in there, play a little pickleball, drink a cup of coffee, walk a couple laps on the indoor track, play some more pickleball. I suppose I would need other stuff to do too beyond that, but I'm sure golf and pickleball would take up plenty of my time if I didn't have to work.
Well, I think it's just, if someone finds a purpose, they're going to be way more satisfied all the way through retirement. And, so you've got this non-financial part of retirement that people spend just very, very little time on, but it's what you're going to do all the time. Your money is just the conduit to do the things you like. And I kind of think the reason people get sidetracked and think money is the most important part is because inevitably we get sidetracked by what's on the news, what's in the media, and we get distracted, making you think all these things are worried, so I have to put all this effort into my money. Right? It's easy to do things you like to do. They're all happy things.
Yeah.
What do we focus all of our time on? All the news is focused on negative stuff. And I think that the more we can figure out how each generation can not get sidetracked and not get distracted by what's in the headlines is really important because, in any given day, you turn on the news, you would think the world's coming to an end.
Isn't it?
Seriously. No.
Oh, it's not?
No, like you'd think it's coming to an end. Like right now, I guarantee you, if you ask somebody right now, today, how's the stock market doing? They're going to say, oh my gosh, it's so bad because it went down 2% the other day. Okay, we're like 2% off an all-time high.
Yeah.
It's really good. But I think people's perception, and they saw commodities fall and they've seen crypto fall. So all of a sudden they think, oh my gosh, it's going to happen right now. It's happening. And maybe it is. But most of the time it showed it's not.
Well, and if you get distracted by the headlines, that's when you're here. I think something people need to remember, you get distracted by headlines and then you're just focusing on all the negative and things that really don't matter. And I've really become, I don't know what the right word is, but over the years, I spent so much time training my mentality to only think about things I can control. Like I'm very shut off to a lot of the headlines and the negative news, and I just don't even let it impact me. But it takes time, and I think you got to be intentional about it. I think it's pretty easy to get caught up in that. And okay, chaos, crisis, all this stuff. Is it ever going to stop?
No, here, this is a great chart I have pulled up from Invesco, talking about how every single generation has faced their own set of challenges. Every generation, guess what they say? Well, it's different this time. Yeah, it was different all of these times. So if you went back to 1900, just think of all the things that have happened since 1900. We had Black Tuesday. We had a war. We had the Depression. We had tech stocks getting crushed. We had the Great Recession. We had COVID. I mean, just the list goes on and on, right? If you had invested $10,000 in 1900, today, it would be worth $6.2 million. And you sat back and just did nothing, like forgot about it. And I think that just highlights all of the reasons that most people shouldn't be paying that much attention to their investments. They should be paying attention to all the other things in retirement. If you have the right asset allocation, you have a bucket strategy put together where your cash is being managed, your income bucket's being managed, and you have this long-term growth type investments out there, it should be a pretty hands-off approach from the individual investor level. Like, why would you need to go mess around with it? History's shown us it's going to work out.
Well, I'll give you some reasons. People, one, they feel compelled to just mess, like you just said, mess around with it. And people also feel when people retire, because you know this, they come, that we have meetings and they they go into, well, I have to protect everything. This isn't the point in my life where I can have fluctuation. Or like, how many 60-year-olds have told you, I'm too old now to outlast the fluctuations? Well, the longest bear market ever was 3 years. So at 60, you're too old to outlast a 3-year bear market.
Well, and guess what? Truth be told, if you're too young to outlast it, it means you don't have any money. It means you're going to spend all your money in the next 3 years. So you're broke anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, let's be honest. Someone tells you that, I don't have time to outlast. What are you talking about?
There's people who say that, though, but they still have.
Because
they're still financially independent. It's just like this weird idea that they think is the correct way.
They don't have a plan. It's simple. They don't have a plan to deal with volatility. That is the one thing. Their plan is, well, I have this pile of money. I'm going to take out 4% a rule because that's what the book, 4% a year, because that's what the books told me to do. And then they take 4% out of their target date fund they have, right? So they're just indiscriminately selling the target date to pull it out. They left it in the 401k. They're like, yeah, I'll just pull 4% a year. And then their account goes down 30% or 25%. Very rarely does it go down 25% a year. Only 6 times it's ever been down more than 20% over the last 100 years. So it goes down 20. Then they took 4, so they compounded their loss, and they feel bad about it because they didn't have a cash management strategy. They weren't managing their income, and they didn't know what money was earmarked for growth. That's why. It's a simple summation of why they feel that way, and it's silly because it's not that hard to fix that problem.
Well, how would you fix it?
You run a cash bucket. It's, I mean, so easy. Think about how many clients do we have that call up when stuff gets crazy that are retired? They don't, because they know they have 1 to 3 years of cash. How good that makes people feel?
Yeah. For the most part, they handle it very well.
They handle it very well because we have a plan. They feel like there's a plan in place. If there's no plan, then it's just archaic and chaotic and, nobody gets anywhere. And part of the reason I bring these things up, I would say right now, people in America and probably across the globe feel a rise in like geopolitical tension. Would you agree?
I believe so.
Yeah. I think we feel like geopolitical tensions are getting ratcheted up, and people start to think, well, if there's a war or something like this happens, the stock market's going to go down. So part of the reason I really like this chart that was put out by Invesco, it talks about, about 10 different wars and what actually happened. So geopolitical events over history, Elias, haven't really weighed on markets as much as people think. We can go back, and if we go back to 1962, that'd be the Cuban Missile Crisis. The market was up 35%. 1967, the 6-Day War, market was up 13. We can go back to USSR in Afghanistan, 1979 to 1989, 15.3%. Kuwait, 27%. Persian Gulf War, 23%. Iraq, 35. September 11, down 20.
Yeah, there have been events, and that's probably what gets into people's biases is there are events and then the market reacts negatively. But as this chart proves, it doesn't happen every single time. And even when you factor in, I like how they put the average performance when you factor in all these events. Well, the average performance is still positive 15.3%. So
during geopolitical events.
Right.
Like, that's pretty amazing. I think the other thing that if people really sat back and looked at what's happening, when you have these events, what it really does, it ramps up spending, which increases companies' earnings.
Yeah.
And that's what prices the market. Like, if you just think back to it, think critically, well, if we spend more on this, sales go up, earnings go up.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. It's really an unfortunate reality, but there typically has been money to be made on wars throughout history.
Going back to 1962. So what is that, 64 years? There's only been 3 geopolitical events that the stock market was negative.
And how many events have there been?
3,
a lot.
6, 8. In this, we identify 11, so 25% of the time ish.
Yeah.
And the market's average 15.3 during this time, like during geopolitical events, 15.3. So I think it is, I believe that most people overblow this from a stock market. Now, that doesn't mean mentally doesn't take a toll on you, because nobody wants to be at war. No one wants to hear that on the news every day. But it goes back to having a personal media filter to just block out most of the noise that's in the world. And we've utilized this media filter technique for the better part of 15, well, probably 21 years now. 20? No, Jeff, I think Jeff, who is the original founder here, wrote the survival guide in like 2007 or 2008. It talked about a media filter. We've been going on 17 years, let's call it, talking about how to drown out the noise of what's around you.
Investors who do it, I think, one, are more successful, and two, I think they're just in general happier. I think regardless of investment and performance and all that, they're just happier living day to day. Because, okay, these geopolitical events, they're going to continue to happen. And even, not even geopolitical events, but just the political environment and climate now, it's so in your face, and it's every day, and it's on the news, and everybody hates everybody. And it's just so polarizing. Probably just better off trying to ignore it. And I don't know what it's going to change about anyone's life.
Well, I think that if you are concerned about this stuff, which is fine to be concerned, you have to figure out a way within your investment portfolio to add some protection to it, but not give up the growth, which is challenging. But you have to figure out whether that's just having a cash management strategy, saying, hey, this is how I'm protecting my portfolio, or some other type of strategy that's out there. If these things keep you up at night and potentially make you, or would cause you to have a bad reaction, meaning, hey, this happened, so I need to pull all of my money out of the market, you definitely need to put together a plan to deal with these things. And if you haven't, right now is the right time. The stock market's near all-time highs. If you're going to get out or make a change, I don't think anybody should be getting out, but if you're going to make a change, now's the time to assess your situation. Had a call with an individual yesterday. Said, hey, I think I'm going to put a kitchen in. I said, that's going to cost $100,000. He goes, $100,000? I said, yeah. You told me you're doing a kitchen, a bathroom, and a laundry room. It's going to cost you $100,000.
For sure. If you're paying someone, they're hiring a contractor to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said, first thing I said, we need to get $100,000 into cash. He goes, what if I don't do it? I said, well, then we'll reinvest it back in the market. But because you know you're doing it, now's the time to raise the cash for it. What's it going to hurt? You're going to put it in a cash alternative and make a pretty fair yield still. But those are the things people should be thinking about when the market's up, because inevitably, here's what's going to happen. Someone out there listening to this has a project they want to do. Market's going to go down 25%. I don't know if it's going down, but this is Murphy's Law. Right when you want to do the project, the market's going to go down. And guess what? You're not going to have the cash on hand to do it if you didn't think ahead.
And then you're not going to want to do it.
They're not going to want to do it. I had this happen last April. The individual was taking a cruise. They didn't raise the cash, and they're like, maybe we shouldn't take the cruise. I said, take the cruise. You're fine. I said, the market could literally come back like any minute. And I talked to this individual like 10 o'clock in the morning. By 1 or 2, the market was up like 8%. It was the day that I think they pulled back a bunch of the tariff. That was last spring. Yeah. And so I called them back and said, remember how I told you this could happen? It has. So, but just if they would have planned ahead of time and said, hey, we know we're doing the cruise, let's make sure we have a cash strategy for it. Okay, great. No problem. They wouldn't have been stressed out about doing it. But if you don't have a strategy to do this stuff, you'll probably forego doing it. All right. Well, Elias, if anybody out there is looking to get help putting together a bucket strategy, looking to fine tune your financial plan, or just trying to, have a second opinion on your portfolio, go to btwellshow.com. We'd be happy to help you. If you enjoy the content that we put out, please support us by liking and subscribing to the channels. That said, I want to thank everybody for listening. Hopefully, if your family's sick, You're going to get healthy. I know my family hopefully is going to get healthy. We look forward to talking to you guys next week.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC. The opinions voiced in this show are for general information purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, and financial or tax advisor prior to investing. Premier Investments and Wealth Management and LPL Financial do not provide tax advice. Please consult your tax professional. Economic forecasts set forth may not develop as predicted, and there can be no guarantee that strategies promoted will be successful. There's no guarantee that a diversified portfolio will enhance overall returns or outperform a non-diversified portfolio. Diversification does not protect against market risk. Rebalancing a portfolio may cause investors to incur tax liabilities and/or transaction costs, and does not assure a profit or protect against loss. All performance referenced is historical and is not a guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and cannot be invested into directly. There is no assurance that the techniques and strategies discussed are suitable for all investors or will yield positive outcomes. The purchase of certain securities may be required to affect some of the strategies. Investing involves risks, including possible loss of principal. Rebalancing a portfolio may cause investors to incur tax liabilities and/or transaction costs, and does not assure a profit or protect against loss. Dollar cost averaging involves continuous investment in securities regardless of fluctuations in price levels. Investors should consider their ability to continue purchasing through periods of low price levels. Such a plan does not assure a profit and does not protect against loss in declining markets. A plan participant leaving an employer typically has 4 options and may engage in a combination of these options, each choice offering advantages and disadvantages. Those options include leave the money in their former employer's plan if permitted, roll over the assets to their new employer's plan if one is available and rollovers are permitted, roll over to an IRA, or cash out the account value. Consult your tax professional about eligibility to Roth and traditional IRA contributions. Contributions and earnings in a Roth IRA can be withdrawn without paying taxes and penalties if the account owner is at least 59.5 and has held their Roth IRA for at least 5 years. Traditional IRA account owners have considerations to make before performing a Roth IRA conversion. These primarily include income tax consequences on the converted amount in the year of the conversion, withdrawal limitations from a Roth IRA, and income limitations for future contributions to a Roth IRA. In addition, if you are required to take a minimum distribution, RMD, in the year you convert, you must do so before converting to a Roth IRA.